talking about clowns. And hello, we're live. Hey, everybody, welcome to Dumb Investing. That guy over there, that's Harry Ticker.
That guy's Lloyd Picker.
And we're Dumb Investing, and it is about to get dumb up in here. All right, real quick. So tonight's show, we're going to portfolio review. What do we do with our $178 we've still got in cash, which is doing diddly squat for us. We're going to talk a little bit about AMC because, I don't know.
Wow,
and then,
wow.
We'll do a real quick update on real estate stuff, and then I have a little bit of like a spreadsheet thing to share, just some when you're thinking about investing, what can you do in your brain? And I'll walk through that, kind of some of the things that I was thinking about when it was coming time to purchase a rental. So we'll walk through that a little bit. So for those of you just joining us, welcome to the dumbest investing channel in all of YouTube's. What we used to do before we ran out of money and went broke is we used to roll a random dice every night, pick some random stocks. We'd go and buy one the next day, and we thought, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to make all this money and keep this show going, and we're going to roll it, and it's going to be awesome. And then the market kind of took a putz for us. So that's why we review our portfolio right now instead of going and buying stocks, because we kind of ran out of money. So that's where we're at. And without much more ado, let's check out the old portfolio.
Here we go. So, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we missed last night's episode. We were...
Oh, that's right. We did miss an episode.
Yeah. So
yeah.
That's okay.
The director was directing his new rental.
There's a lot going on right now. So, my apologies for...
Is it officially the Ticker Rehab?
It is officially the Ticker Rehab, yeah.
Ticker Rehab.
Yeah, we were back over there again tonight. So we can talk about that in a little bit, though. So I don't know what happened to our stocks yesterday, and as far as I'm concerned, they were all green because I don't know any better. So
yeah, I think yesterday was an okay day in market land. It was an okay day for the Picker portfolio.
Yeah. Fantastic. Today was not so good.
Today was not a good day at all.
Yeah, and our portfolio here, some red, some green. GFL Environmental was down 2.5%. BurgerFi, shockingly, was down 2.25%. And then for our winners, we've got CSW Industrials at 1.2% and Lazy Boy at 1.23%.
Man, even though they were green, did you see our bars are both way above those? Oh.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
In terms of our account for the week.
Oh, it's green.
Still green for the week, buddy.
That's good.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. Maybe we can end off the week another green and add a little bit more. Get us back closer to break even. Over here in our positions, our overall winners, we've got Gates Industrial. It is a total of 13.5% up for us. And we've got the Direction Industrials Bull. So same
bull thing.
Same two. Yep. Same two.
So, yeah. All right. Well, we're going to keep an eye on those. We have some high conviction with the Gates, so we're probably not going to sell that one. That Drixon thing, the Bull thing, I've got no conviction there, except I think Bull is probably going to win over the next couple of months. So that one might be one to hang on to. And we'll talk about cutting some of the other ones loose and start rolling some dice, maybe, hopefully once a week. I don't know. I don't know what we'll get to. But that's where we are. So you want to talk 5 minutes about AMC? Because I am completely baffled by what I am seeing with AMC. I get it at the beginning of the year. There was a short squeeze in play. The Reddit apes figured it out, just like the GameStop. And man, did they ever shove it to the suits.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good on them. What is causing the run this week, I think, is the same kind of thing, but the short percentage was not nearly as high as it was prior.
No.
But that thing has ran and ran and ran, and the good suits running AMC, not to let a disaster go by, they said, man, oh man, if we got to make some money on this, we need to bank it. They owe, I can't remember, $5 billion.
Yeah.
And they have $40 billion in leases, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what that number is.
It was a huge number. When I heard it, I was just like, no way. I mean, it was that big, right? So those guys earlier, either late last week or early this week, got together with some other suit guys and said, hey, we've got some shares of stock here. We can kind of under the table to you if you guys want to buy some. And of course, these other suits said, sure, we'll buy all those. So they bought them at like 10% under market or something like that. Turned around, flipped them the next day. They made their 10, 12%. And then today, AMC says, that stock price is still pretty high. We should probably get as much money as we possibly can. And so then they dumped a bunch of their shares out on the market today. So they did everything in their power to, number one, maximize profits during this. I mean, these were guys who technically, when you look at their financials, they were done.
Yep.
They were at the end of their line. The Reddit apes figured it out, took some suits out along the way, and then the suits said, well, let's just see what happens here at the end. And dumped a bunch of
AMC was up 95% yesterday.
Yeah, in one day.
That is phenomenal.
4,000% for the year.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
So when you look at their price to earnings, so price of their stock versus the earnings of the company divided by the stock price, right? Price to earnings, they are 50x Apple right now.
So they must be around 1,000 then, because Apple, I think, is
something
about
like that.
22.
Yeah, it's insane, and it had everybody on Wall Street. They couldn't talk about this enough because everybody's just going, what? I mean,
fundamentals don't work anymore, right? It's what was that? That was weird.
Ever since the .com bubble burst, fundamentals have kind of been thrown out the water. I mean, you can't run the stock market like your dad did.
Right.
Back then there were simple rules. Everybody had the same price to earnings targets. So when a company released their earnings, if they were in that window, everybody was like, "Oh, this is a stock to buy." There were all these rules that people followed, and the .com bubble kind of threw those rules out because it was like, "Hey, we don't know how to value a company with no revenue with a great idea that someday is going to work." How do you value an Amazon when the guy says, "Here's what we're going to be, but it's going to take $100 billion"? Hey, what's up, London? Sorry it's so late, brother. We're catching 2 hours later. So it's real hard to value a company when they said we're going to lose $100 million getting there. I mean, that was things that were unheard of. So so today's market, it doesn't follow any rules anymore. It's just crazy. And with all the Fed money that's pumping into it, it is crazy to try to figure out what makes sense for a stock price. It's just
it's so hard. Yeah, when you're looking at you want to run PE ratios and based on growth, and that's kind of what I'm looking at when I'm running some of these fundamentals. Kind of doing a classification based on what growth has happened and the PE ratio, because the PE ratio is for something like that
guy's awesome.
Yeah. For a really decent show. We're really happy to put out a really decent show.
We're trying, brother. We are trying.
Where was that? So guys like Tesla are what, 320 or 540 on the PE ratio. So I mean, those companies are so extremely overvalued right now. Just literally, it's really hard to justify the stock prices, right? Like it's really difficult sometimes, but you have to believe in their growth model, and that's really where the high conviction comes from, is really believing in the company and the growth that they're potentially going to achieve, and then that makes the share price more reasonable, I guess. But with the higher the PE ratio, you're basically buying their future price per se.
Well, you're funding the futures basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you're kind of overvaluing it all, but I don't know. It's Yeah.
Well, and you know why? Because people saw Amazon when it was $5 a share, $15 a share, and they look at it now, they're like, man, did we blow it? We should have been in that thing 10 years prior.
Right.
And so I think a lot of people are looking 10 years out going, is Tesla going to be the Amazon in 10 years?
Right.
Tesla they've got a madman at the wheel who is a visionary beyond. I mean, he's one of the few that is looking out there in 20 years and saying, here's what I got to do today to make 20 years freaking awesome. I mean, the guy's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people are looking at that, like you and I mean, in our personal life, we both own some Tesla, because we think this dude's crazy. He's going to make the future. We want to be there with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully he can help us make some money along the way.
Well, that's what you hope for. That's what you plan for. That's not what the portfolio says today, but
That is true. Yeah. Yeah. The AMC thing is wild. 95% short squeeze. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with what the next one's going to be, because I think this is going to continue.
So what was wild, I don't know if you watch Meet Kevin. I try to watch Meet Kevin in the mornings. He does a market opening and then he does a market closing, right? So I try to watch him. Yeah, he's cool. He was reviewing the shorts at AMC this week, so during his opening show. And in the rise where it went up 95%, there were actually 2% of the shorts that got closed. So somebody got taken to the cleaners, dude.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, how crazy is that?
And that's the whole point of the short squeeze, right?
That's exactly what it is.
That's why these guys on Reddit are doing it, is because they want to take out the suits and they want to, then that's kind of why this show started too, is we want to show that just some random couple of dummies can do better than the suits. But, the suits always have a tendency to win, but the Reddit guys are having a lot of fun with this. So they did it with GameStop, and they're doing it with AMC, and there's going to be another one. BlackBerry's following behind too.
Yeah, they've got about 7 or 8 right now that they're targeting.
Yeah.
So that's fun to watch.
It is, yeah.
And it's kind of funny because we try to, when we do our short review of these, when we try to pick our one stock, is oh, I love it. Yeah, the crypto stuff, dude. He's a wild cannon. You just hope he's aimed the right way, because you never know when he's going to go off.
Yeah, totally. He's a wild card. He's one of those, kind of the savant style, like the visionary that he is. Steve Jobs was that type too. Yeah. Slightly less wild card, a little bit more reserved, but I mean, you those types of people, they're few and far between. So like they're thinking light years ahead of us regular dummies.
Yeah.
Anyways, where were we at?
I don't know. We got way off the deep end.
I love it.
That was fun. That was our investing for now. We don't have much else going on. I do want to pop in to a little thing that I have on our spreadsheet. If you follow the link down below, the regular spreadsheet that we've always kept up for y'all is our stock record. So you guys can see everything we bought, everything we sold. Well, I put down here, or on the next tab over, I created this picker rental worksheet. And this is a sheet that I use when I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do, whether it makes sense for rental, get into stocks, whatever. So let's say you've got $60,000 to invest. That's what my budget is right now for my rental, right? You got 3 choices. You can let it sit in your savings account. You can go out and try to buy, like a dividend stock where you can make some money on a dividend stock. Or you can buy rental property, right? Those were the 3 that I identified that I would be comfortable doing. So a savings account, the cool thing about a savings account, man, it's very safe, but you get a very low return, very high liquidity. If you need that money tomorrow, it's very easy to get to. Dividend stocks, now safety is kind of a medium, and that could be maybe a medium to the high side, because you never know what could happen in the stock market, right? It's kind of a wild animal. The return on dividend stocks, if you do it right, you can get a fairly high return, high compared to a savings account. Savings account right now is paying nothing, right? So I think you're even lucky to get a 0.015%. That's what mine's paying right now today. So on dividend stocks, it's a high return. The liquidity, it's kind of medium. You have to sell them and transfer money and do some stuff like that. But you could get your money, you hope, within a couple of days, right? A rental property, now safety, I'm going to say medium, because in the long term, real estate is usually a pretty good investment. Now, there may be short-term bubbles. We may be in a bubble right now, so you may see a 10% pullback, and you just have to kind of deal with that, saying, well, if I want to get my money out in 5 years, there's a 10% pullback, I'm going to lose money. So you have to know how long you're in for it and hope that it's going to be higher then. The return it's a fair return. I'm going to say medium of the group. The liquidity is very low. It's very hard to get your money back out, especially if there's a pullback and all of a sudden houses are not selling. So those are some of the thoughts that go through my head. Now, when I was looking to buy my rental, I was looking at about 15-year time frame. So in a savings account where you're getting paid crap interest, your first year you're going to make $90. Then you're going to make 90 and a little bit more, right? So that goes on down. So you keep compounding because now you've got $60,000 and $90. So it keeps compounding. At the end of 15 years, you have $61,000. Now the thing I didn't put on here is your original 60, what it can buy today. If you reduce this by interest, this is probably going to be about $54,000.
You mean inflation?
Inflation, sorry, yeah. If you reduce it by inflation. So you would want to at least keep up with inflation, which a savings account right now will not. So savings account, man, that sucks. So next thing you can think about is dividend stocks. So what I've done is I've put together a couple of rules here. My thought is we could find an investment portfolio that could give you 7.5% yield for a year. Now that's not easy to do, but it's also not hard. They do exist. Okay. Now I also
AT&T has been doing it for quite a few years.
For years.
Right up until they
with this new split
just pivoted.
Yeah. So, but I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I also assumed that this portfolio that we would build would grow the stock price annually at 3%. That is when you take like a rough estimate of what the market has done over the last 20 years, roughly 3 to 5%, depending on where you're at. So that was just an assumption that I made. You can make your own assumptions. So if you then take your dividends, you reinvest them into your stock, at the end of 15 years, you're going to have $276,000 when you cash out. But out, 276, much better than 61,000. Now, the last thing is a rental. All right, so here's the assumptions I made with the rental. Approximately 250 grand. I'm not quite sure, that could be anywhere from 230 to 290. Who knows? But anyways, we're going to put 20% down so we're not paying PMI. The loan that I have is a 3% loan that's amortized for 30 years. I think I'm going to have to pay about $3,000 in closing costs, and hopefully I don't have much to do on repairs. That's why I want to buy a house that's 3 years old. Some of the things that I think it's going to rent for about $1,900. Annually, it's probably going to be able to increase that by inflation, right? I'm assuming a 3% inflation because that's what Powell wants. I assume it's going to be vacant 5% of the time that I own it. And I might have to pay a management fee. I put it in there as a worst case scenario. I might do it myself. I might not. So some of the expenses, property taxes, here where I'm at, it's fairly high. And I assume they're going to increase it every single year. My insurance costs, same thing, it's going to go up. Now the homeowner's fee, the houses I'm looking at are in nice neighborhoods that have homeowners associations and pools and stuff like that. So that's where I'm looking. I'm booking on $1,000 a year in maintenance. Now that the first couple of years, it's not going to be there, but you take that $1,000 out, you put it into an account so that you always have it in case you need it. And then $200 a year and just miscellaneous, whatever. If a dishwasher breaks, you've got some stuff there and things like that. Now, I have also made some assumptions that this house is going to appreciate 3% a year. I'm going to hold it for 15 years. It's going to cost me 8% when I end up selling it. You can do all of this yourself. I've put the links down here where you can go get each of these calculators. So in the rental house, when you do all the math with the rental house, when you're all said and done and you sell it, you're going to put 236 in your pocket. So between all the assumptions I've made, the 236 with the rental house and the 276 with the stocks, you then have to decide for yourself which one do you think where's more safety and potential and things like that. So that's just some of the thinking that I've been doing. This is how my brain figures out with the investing which direction I want to go. Sometimes, if you're in a real estate market like we were in 8, 9, and 10, this over here was complete crap because there was no way you could think, oh, that my rent's not going to go up, my value's not going to go up. There were a lot of things that made this not make as much sense as stocks. So that's why, I'm carrying a portfolio right now, because every month when I take a little bit of my paycheck and I say, gosh, what am I going to do with it? I have my living expense side, I have my little fun stuff, and then I have for the future, what are you going to do with it? And depending on the year, sometimes you put it in a kitty. It may sit in a savings account for 6, 8, 9 months. Who knows? I've had some stuff sit in a savings account for 3 years just because I was afraid to do anything with it. I didn't know what to do because my calculators weren't giving me a good answer. So that's something you guys can do. Each of these has a link.
I have another idea.
You can follow those links. Coffee can in the backyard, but then you don't get any of this either.
No. You can do both option 2 and 3 at the same time.
Quite possibly.
You can take your $60,000 cash invested into a stock market. Then, because you own a house already, you can get a home equity line of credit, borrow against that house, and literally pay essentially $0 out of your own cash, buy a rental, and still end up with that $276,000 without spending any of your own money. And you can still get, so net, you're going to be up $550 as opposed to having your 2 separate options.
And see, maybe a rich person can do that, but I don't qualify for anything like that right now.
For a HELOC?
We don't do that.
You can't get a home equity line of credit?
Not to buy investment property.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, in fact, when you're buying investment property, you have to fill out a thing that says none of the money that you have is borrowed money.
Huh.
So like I had to give them
in stocks too. So we have to do that in stocks. So if you're borrowing money to put it into the stock market, you have to disclose that.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's kind of opposite. That's interesting.
Yep. To infinity and beyond.
Infinite verse.
Sorry, I want to come back.
So that's what we did. We took a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, to buy a rental. We basically didn't pay any of our own cash. It's all leverage cash borrowed against our house. Went and buy a rental, and we can literally take that. Well, all of that money, like we can keep all of our own cash, and then somebody else is going to pay off our mortgage and our interest on our home equity line of credit, and like we can then also go borrow against that next house, against that rental.
And I might need to talk to my guy a little bit more. What I have generally done is the way I'm personally compensated in my life, a fair amount of my compensation has come out of annual bonuses, and so I have developed my lifestyle on my salary, and then when I get my annual bonuses, that's always been my investment money.
Yeah.
And so I talked to my guy a little bit about something like that, but he was just like, not here. You've got to have 20% down, and it's got to be liquid money. It's got to be, and I had to give him 10 years worth of bank statements and stocks and stuff like that, so I could show him, hey, this is my bonus money. It went here. Yeah. Basically, I had to show it, that it came from a paycheck. And yeah, I've been storing it here. I've been storing it here. And now I consolidated it, and I'm ready to go buy a rental again.
Interesting.
That's just what I've been used to. So
Yeah,
maybe,
because if you watch, Meet Kevin, that's what he did. He borrows against all of his houses to buy another rental property.
and he might have annual compensation that allows him to do that. Maybe I don't
Maybe.
qualify for
Maybe.
stuff like that because I'm a poor boy.
I don't think it's that, but
I don't have a lot of
interesting. I think
zeros.
that's definitely worth investigating, because dumping $60,000 of cold hard cash into a property, like you said, it makes it illiquid, and that's not a lot of fun.
No, and
A lot more fun when you
maybe
can take that property that you currently own, borrow against it, buy a new property, and then go get refinanced and another home equity line of credit off of that property to buy another one, and you keep going. And yes, you are extending yourself, you are starting to over leverage yourself, but real estate is relatively safe.
yeah, I'm going to try not to use those words so that it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass.
That's fair.
Because I lived through the .com bubble where I had a rental that the people didn't pay rent for about 9 months.
Yeah.
And at the time, the state I was in, it took 9 months to remove somebody. So I had to make, that payment without any income for a while. That sucks.
Yeah.
And then I lived through the 08-09 disaster of having 2 house payments and 2 vacant properties. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Trying to be smarter this time around.
Sounds like you should just stay the heck away from housing in general.
Yeah, but you can't because it's a long-term play. And if I had my house of cards was a little wobbly at the time, I was very, like you would say, over leveraged. At the time, it was, things were tight if I wasn't getting rent payments, and then to have it happen on 2 properties, it was just like,
Right.
I had enough in one that I could float the other when it was just one property, but when it was both properties that didn't have anybody in them for like a year and a half, it was a disaster.
Yeah, totally.
And part of the time I was in a whole different state. I was 1,700 miles away, and it was just like,
yeah.
that was not fun.
Yeah. Well, at the ticker rental, that's where we were tonight, which is why we're running the show so late tonight. So apologies for that. But we did our first renovation. I ripped out some blinds and I put some new ones up. Went over to Home Depot, got them cut, and popped them in there. And it's, man, I tell you, the difference already. Like,
that is awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Installed them, and yeah, it's night and day. So I'm going to put some pictures of that up on our Instagram page, and you can kind of see the difference. But the place was, obviously, it was smoked in, as we talked about the other day. So, there's like smoke caked on those old blinds. And I was thinking about like trying to rip them down and wash them. But, for the, what was it, $240 in blinds. And it's half of the blinds that were up there already were already broken and damaged. So they need to be replaced anyways.
Yeah.
So get them out of there, rip them out, get something that's smoky out of there, and put in some nice, clean, fresh, white, full wood blinds for a couple $100. Probably just added $1,000 in value right there.
That's awesome. So at the picker house, the sprinklers are done. The guy ran all sections. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did it in 2 days, but he got the whole thing fixed in 2 days. The guy's a genius. So hopefully that means a gate soon, and plaster and Pebble Tech. And man, I hope I'm swimming by the 4th of July.
That would be so cool.
I will take pictures or a video. I'll take a video for Monday's show because, oh no. Oh, I'm pretty sure if you got it, you guys need to see the stuff that's floating in it right now. Cause all it took was like 2 days of sun, and I don't know what that's growing, but there's islands now. It's awesome. Yeah.
Your little duck friends made an island?
The ducks won't go in it anymore.
Oh.
It's too gross for the ducks. So yeah.
That's fantastic.
All right. So that's all I got, man. I'm ready. It's bedtime down here.
Yeah, us too. It was a late night last night, and didn't get
London. Thanks for hanging.
Yeah.
Man, it's awesome.
Appreciate you.
The rest of you, hopefully we're helping you learn a little bit about investing and what you can do with your money. And hopefully we've shown you some of the things not to do. And man,
But definitely do the like button, subscribe, hit the bells for the reminders. Jay, you must have the reminder set up. Your phone must ding.
that guy's awesome, man.
Guy, girl, we're not sure yet.
We don't know. It could be a chick. We're just assuming based off the name. That's bad to do that.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate all you guys, and have a good night.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram.
And don't
Twitter.
trade like that guy.
At Dumb Investing on Twitter and dumb_investing on Instagram. And I'm going to start posting some pictures on there, and they kind of flow through the Twitter. So yeah, we're getting this thing starting to flow. It's awesome. It's going to be great. All right. Don't trade like that guy. Have a great night.
See ya.